Hi, Dan Grieve here, and in this video I'm going to run through the 5 most common faults that I've seen played from amateur golfers over the many years I've been coaching, all the short game schools over the years, the hundreds of thousands of shots I've been witness to with my own eyes, okay? I'm going to go through the 5 most common faults that I see. It's more from a performance basis, so it's more about club selection, reading lies, okay, and some clever, smart, easy wins that you can put into your short game. The technical side, there's other videos on that, there's my book, there's my app. This is more about the performance side, but I think a lot of golfers don't have any awareness of these common faults I'm going to go through now, so I'm sure it will help you. So number 1 fault is lack of versatility. That means the golfer sets up and plays every shot pretty much the same way and normally with the same club. The problem with that is you just lose the versatility to be able to play different flights, different spins to get the ball close to different pin positions. Now we've got 4 pins on the green here. There's different slopes, some are just over a ledge, some are more downhill. If I use the same shot and the same club here, it's going to be very difficult for me to get the ball close to all these 4 pins. Now if you're a tour player, if you're a top 10 player in the world, you've probably got the skill to do this, and some players do that, okay? They use the same loft all the time. They're a little bit more skilled and they get a lot more time to practice than you do. So you're going to make it a lot easier on yourself by changing loft. Just to kind of demonstrate that, I've got a 56 degree here, and I'm going to play a 56 degree shot to all of these 4 pins. And you know, I'm a reasonable short game player. I might be able to pull this off, but we're going to see how we go. And then we're going to do it with different clubs, okay? And I'm not going to sort of deliberately do it badly or well, and next time I'm just going to just roll as we go, okay? So, pin here, downhill. Now I probably would use a 56 degree here because it's quick and downhill, and I need a little bit of spin. So I'm going to do my regular little release 2, okay, and that holds the slope, okay, and that gives me a chance of still getting it up and down. Now, this pin in the middle, bit of green to work with, downhill, then uphill at the end. Let's see if we can get this close. So I played a really nice contact there, little bit of spin, and then they're fairly close. I might look at using a 56 degree if I had that pin position. Now the very back pin, this is where it becomes a bit tougher, because from where I just hit that ball to the back pin, it's about 30 feet and it's uphill and the greens are soft. So I've got to play an absolutely world-class shot here to get this close with a 56. Well, let's give it a go. So contact was nice. Just happens I played a world-class shot, but how many times out of 10 would I be able to do that? Now, pin on the left, even tougher because it's up and it's just over a ledge. So I'm trying to pick a flight here and it's very difficult to pick one and get that close because I've got to go in high, but I'm into an upslope as well. Let's see what we can do here. Again, played a really good shot, but that's the classic example. See, that's spun up short. That's about 15 feet short, which is kind of always going to happen because of where that pin position is, just over a mound. It's just totally the wrong club to really get that ball close. Again, I would have had to have been world class to get that close. So the analogy I like to use with this is it's a bit like your cutlery drawer at home. You know, in your cutlery drawer you've probably got forks, knives, spoons, you might have a cheese knife, you might have a steak knife or whatever, okay? You've got all these different implements you can use to use when you're eating and enjoy the food you're eating. Only having a fork in your cutlery drawer means some food you're going to struggle with, like a soup, for example. So this is the fork. Now, it worked for some of the pins. It didn't work for all of them. It's much easier being able to use all the items in your cutlery drawer to be able to get close to different pins. So we'll do that now. We'll use some different ones. Now, this pin here, as I said, I would use the 56, so I don't need to demonstrate that one. This one here, I played a nice shot. I think what I'm going to do is just go to a 52. The 52 is going to give me a little bit less spin, and just means it's not going to get stuck too much on the slope at the end there. So standard 52, played it nice, but you'll see how that ball wants to just drift out a little bit more. Okay, so it's just a tiny bit shorter than the other one, but you can see it had less spin. It was moving forward. We'll give that again another go there. You can see how that ball wants to kind of release up the hill, just that little bit more with 52. Okay, now the back pin, a lot of green there. I would recommend for the average amateur here to be using an 8-iron. An 8-iron is going to get the ball rolling. We're not going to worry too much about the spin on the ball. It's going to make sure the ball's not going to check too much into the slope. So it's going to move right to left a little bit. Hopefully I can just get it around this first pin and bring it off that right side. Let's go this way a little bit on the angle. And just a standard release one. And you'll see this won't have too much spin on the ball. So you can see how that ball is rolling out, rolling out, rolling out, rolling out. Look at it, go, 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 go. Absolutely stone dead, nearly in. There we go. So you can see how an 8-iron is totally the right shot. I could probably do that 9 times out of 10 with an 8-iron. The 56 that I hit in the first round of doing it, I might only do 5 times, 6 times out of 10, you see. So you're getting your ratio up by using the right loft. Now the pin on the left there, I'd worry about an 8-iron getting too quick over the other side and running out too much. So I'm just going to give myself a little bit more spin with a 9-iron. Okay, I'm just going to go 1 to a 9-iron because we want the same sort of shot. We want a low flighted shot that's going to get up the hill, but not too quick the other side. So this is the toughest one of a lot here. 9-iron. So I've struck it really nicely. Just got stuck a little bit on the slope there. Let's try that again. Just carried it a little further. And you can see how that's moving forward and in. There we go. So 9-iron definitely. You've got to feel it. Obviously the first one was landed a bit short, but you can see I got the spin rate. It's moving forward. So you can see there's different examples there on the green. You've got to figure out what works best for you. Some clubs you might be a little bit better with, okay? But I would really encourage you to come into a situation like this and just think about what loft you need to get the ball close. When you're going on the golf course on your own, playing a few holes, throw a few balls down, have a go with a 56, have a go with an 8-iron, see which gets closest. But really make sure you don't get into that bad habit, that lack of versatility of just using the same club for all the shots. It'll work for some, but it won't work for all. So common fault number 2 is anxiety and grip strength. Now, short game for a lot of people makes people feel anxious, okay? And when you get anxious, you're gonna get tight, your grip pressure, you're gonna lose flow in the swing, you're gonna lose tempo in the swing, and you're gonna lose strike. So it's easier said than done, obviously, just to say relax, okay? That's not really gonna help anyone. But I think grip pressure, from all the years I've been coached, is the one thing that golfers struggle to have any awareness of. Like when I actually hold the club in people's hands so I can feel the pressure, okay, I always use a grip scale of 0 isn't holding it, 10's as tight as it gets. I would say the average, if I was to coach 100 players today, the average grip pressure would be about 8.5. When it wants to be, for these sort of little short greenside shots, about a 3. So most people are gripping it way too tight. And I think all the years I've been teaching, I've never told anybody to grip it tighter, but I've told tens and tens of thousands of golfers to grip it lighter. So you're probably in the tight camp, okay, going on those stats. So to get awareness of it, if you let your arm just hang naturally, you see all our arms have a natural arm hang, okay? No one's arms are kind of like this, like really straight. But I see a lot of you, when you grip it, really getting super straight, super locked arms. And if I start hitting some shots with this grip pressure, I can see the whites of my knuckles, arms dead straight, and I try and play this finesse shot here, that ball's just gonna jump off that club face all day long. I will never be able to get any finesse because that ball is just jumping off the face. The ball doesn't nestle into the grooves when you grip it that tight, and it just fires off like a cannon. So when you're playing these short-sided shots where you need a bit of control, you've got to grip it lighter, and it begins with the arm hang. You've got to get these arms just hanging naturally. So let them hang down. That's how they should sit on the grip. So if you look back at videos of Sevy chipping, always had folding in his elbows, never dead straight like this, okay? Just let them hang softly this way. And as soon as you start doing that, your grip pressure will also start to loosen. You'll start to feel like from your fingers, they're looser on the grip, okay? And then from there, the club will be able to start swinging and start releasing almost on its own just from the grip pressure. You'll feel the friction, the ball will stay on the grooves for longer, and your ball will be able to hold the green with a lot more finesse. So I'm going to move away from being tight and locked. I'm going to be soft, and we're going to start to see the ball react very differently. Can you see, even on that very quick downslope, that ball is spinning. It's soft, and that's just achieved by grip pressure. Much, much lighter in the hold. So it's, yeah, as I say, it's something that I think golfers have very little awareness of. As a drill, take your thumbs off the grip, hit some shots. And you can see how that really improves touch, okay? Because a lot of the pressure as well is actually the thumbs getting too tight on the grip, all right? So just make sure when you're out on the golf course, have some awareness of it. Go over the ball, have a practice swing. Try and soften your arms and your grip pressure as much as you can when you want those finesse shots around the green. Common fault number 3, no visualization or predicting what will happen before it happens. And the shot there, the pin there on the left is the shot we're going to go for here. Now, I think most golfers generally just focus totally on the pin. Like they're not really looking about how the ball will get to the pin. So they'll play a shot with, you know, perhaps the wrong loft, okay? They'll sort of look at that shot and they'll play a shot quite nicely with a nice strike like that. You can see how that ball just stops dead because that's a 56 into a wet upslope. That's always going to happen, right? So I sometimes play with amateurs and they'll play a shot like that and then they'll turn around and say, wow, look at the spin, that stopped quick. I can't believe how quickly that stopped. Well, it was always going to stop like that. So the ability to predict what will happen before it happens is a key skill. So you've got to try and run through in your mind, if I land it there at that height, what will it do? If I land it there, what will it do? You've got to ask yourself questions. When you ask yourself questions, you start coming up with the right answers. So I know that if I was to play that 56, it's always going to stop dead. So it's not the shot, it's more like the 9-iron. So the 9-iron, going at a lower flight with less spin because we've got less loft on the club face, is going to get that ball moving up the slope more. So I'm playing these shots in my mind all the time when I'm out on the golf course. That flight, what will it do? That flight, what will it do? That spin, what will it do? So the more you ask yourself the questions, you'll come up with the answer. Once you've then done that, I think it's quite important to have a practice swing to actually try and feel the shot. Now, some people do a practice swing like this. They'll keep their head down the whole time. And what you're doing there is you're practicing bad technique and you're not really engaging with the target at all. Some people did a practice swing looking at the flag the whole time. And again, that's bad technique because you wouldn't do your swing whilst looking at the flag. It's important to have a practice swing that replicates the exact shot you're trying to make. So I imagine I've got a ghost ball, I rake the ghost ball over, okay, and I play the shot and I watch in real time that ball landing and rolling out to the pin, right? So I'm trying to feel the shot, I'm trying to imagine the shot. And the more you can get into this visualization of the shot before you play it, your mind starts to picture it. And once you start painting pictures in your mind, you have a much better chance of pulling the shot off, okay? Obviously, you've still got to execute it. That depends how well your technique, you know, how good your technique is and how well you're playing, all these things, but it begins with a plan. If you don't have a plan to begin with, if you don't see the shot first, I don't really think you can expect to pull it off. Okay, so let's technically make sure you're in a good shape. Read the book, get my app, okay? Watch my other videos, get your technique in shape, but assuming your technique is in good shape, see the shot, visualize it, okay? Paint the picture. Now, if we execute it, great, but if we don't worry about it, go and work on your technique. But let's not make mental errors. So we see that ball's going in lower. We can see it's working its way up the hill a lot easier, and it's got up there to a few feet from the hole. So visualizing the shot in your mind, playing these scenarios out, so make sure you're not surprised after the shot, is a key part to developing a great short game. So common fault number 4 is forcing loft when pitching. What I mean by that is the player using too much loft and delivering too much force with a long game action when they're playing a pitch shot. Now for me, pitching is totally in the short game family, okay? So that's when we're rotating around the front side as opposed to creating too much linear force, okay? So that pin there, we can see it's about 65, 70 yards in front of us, okay? And I've seen many golfers preferring to hit a full shot, for example, sort of with their 60-degree wedge, which I've got here. This is a 60. Now, you can pull that off, but equally it would be very, very easy to miss hit a little bit. And you start hitting, you know, sort of full shots like that. It's very difficult to control the distance of the shot when you're hitting full shots like that. Very easy to start driving the legs. Suddenly you start getting a few thin ones like that whistle right over the green, okay? Massively destructive shot, all because the legs are driving too hard. We need to make sure when you pitch that you're not forcing loft. So unless you've really got to pop it over a front bunker and generate as much spin and height as possible, if you've got a bit of green to work with, you're much better using a stronger loft and using a pitch action with a softer, smoother action to control distance rather than driving with too much force like you would do, for example, in a full swing. So rather than a 60, we could use something like a 52. Now a 52 degree club for me goes about 115 with a full swing. My full pitch swing with it goes around about 80. We've got about 60 yards here. Perfect, okay, I don't need to go after it. I can just use my short game action, bit of rotation. The speed is going to be much smoother. My ability to repeat the speed and repeat the distance is going to be much easier, and the miss strikes are going to be far fewer because I'm not going after it with all that loft as I had with the 60. So 52 degree, you'll see much more of a pitch action this time. You can see how much smoother it is. You can see how the flight's better. Distance control's fantastic. So much easier to repeat. And a lot of people, I think, get afraid of doing this because they think they're going to have more consistency if they just apply a full swing. And I guess there's some logic there. And I think this is also why I think many club fitters put people into 50-degree wedges to try and maybe sort of plug the gap between the 46 and the 52 or whatever the configuration is. I'm much more a fan of having 52, 56, 60 in the bag and learn to hit 3/4 shots with a pitching wedge. You know, learn to sort of get some finesse and control. It's not all about hitting full shots, the short game. It's about developing finesse. Get your technique to a point where you've got this nice, softer rotational movement in there. And don't be afraid of using a stronger loft to hit a shorter shot. You'd be amazed what it'll do to your timing and distance control, okay? So don't go forcing the loft when pitching. So common fault number 5 is the golfer not reading the lie properly, which is absolutely huge. It's the biggest part of a short game because really the lie will tell you what shot you can and most importantly can't play. And I think most golfers play the shot that they see pretty much regardless of the lie. And the lie is the most important thing to look at. Now, it's a huge topic. I can't cover it now, but I'm just going to get you thinking about it a little bit next time you play. So, for example here, with this left-hand pin, not much green to work with, but the lie tells you whether you can or can't play that soft landing shot that I teach. So the release 2 that some of you will have seen requires a club that's going to slide under the ball. So we have to be able to hit behind the ball. It releases under and it creates a softness and spin in the flight for it to hold this downslope and stop somewhere near the hole. So in this circumstance, the leading edge is just sitting low with the ball. Okay, the ground's fairly soft, so I can use the bounce to create the softness with a nice shallow angle of attack here. So let's give that a go. So you can see that came off really soft. Okay, and you can see it's just bruised underneath, a really easy, repeatable shot. Now, if I get a lie that's just slightly different, if it's sitting down a bit now, the leading edge now is not really sitting under that ball. If I attempt to play that shot, I'm probably going to thin it. It's going to go over the green. And I think a lot of golfers thin it over the green pretty much because the lie hasn't ever allowed them to play the shot in the first place. So if I've got a lie like that, well, I've got to think, well, I probably need to get a little bit steeper into that now because I want to get more leading edge into it. I want to get more club face on the ball because if I try and slide the bounce under it this way, it's going to thin. So logically, I'm now going to move more in front of the ball. I'm going to play the ball a bit further back. I'm going to add a little bit of shaft lean. I'm going to do more of a release 1, a front hip release to make sure I'm not letting the bounce overtake too much, okay, because that's going to give me the thin shot. That means then, because the ball's coming off lower and hotter, I need to bring my landing spot back. I'm probably going to land it on the fringe rather than landing it on the green because it's going to come out hotter. But that's my workaround for the lie that I've got. So ball back, hands forward, we're going to see a lower flight, landing it short this time. And you can see how that ball comes off hotter, still got a good result, okay, landed it short, still got a chance of getting up and down. But the most important thing I did there was read the lie. So there are shots in short game you need to be shallower at so you can release it more. There are shots you need to be steeper at. It all depends on the lie. And when people say, what shot do you play where? The answer is it all depends. The lie is absolutely everything. If we're on a little bit of a downslope like this, okay, and we're going to that same flag, well, I'm going to play the ball further back. I'm going to get a little bit steeper because I want my club to go down the slope. okay? If I'm on an upslope, if I'm a bit further back this way now, on the upslope, then I want to be shallow, I want to be going with the slope. So I'm going to play the ball forward. I'm going to release it a little bit more. Okay, so the answer is it all depends on the lie. So it's a huge topic on its own, okay, but the first thing you've got to have is awareness. How the ball is lying will tell you which release you can use and whether you want to get shallower or steeper. So they're the 5 most common faults I've seen with amateurs over the years. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully it's helped you sort of get some awareness of it. Okay, it's not all encompassing that, okay, there's so much more detail we can go into in all those points, but this video was just about trying to give you some awareness, get you thinking a little bit about your club selection, about your routine, about reading the lie, about how you play your pitch shots, okay, about trying to be a bit more relaxed. These are the keys that allow you to develop a great short game. So go out there, work on your technique, but you have to combine technique with this performance side as well. And when you do the 2 skills together, it's amazing where you can take your short game in a really short space of time. So go out there, get working on it, and enjoy the short game.